Bonjour et bienvenue à cet entretien du Palais Montcalm. Je suis Nicolas Houle, directeur de la programmation. Et aujourd'hui, j'ai le plaisir de m'entretenir avec la chanteuse canadienne Barber, qui a touché au fil des ans autant au jazz qu'à la pop, qu'à la folk. Elle vient d'achever son 10e album, Entre, nous, qui est entièrement en français. Bonjour Jill, merci d'être avec nous. Vous allez bien?
Bonjour Nicolas. Oui, très bien, merci. C'est un plaisir de parler avec vous aujourd'hui.
Jill, vous lancez ces jours-ci votre 2e album en français, votre 10e album en carrière. Ce qui est particulier avec ce 2e album, c'est qu'on a des chansons originales qui sont là de façon majoritaire. C'était important pour vous d'arriver cette fois-ci avec votre propre matériel en français?
Yes, it was a big challenge for me to try to write an original French album. I'm an Anglophone, but a Francophile, and I adore the French language. I do find it very sensual, very romantic and passionate, and I also my main instrument is my voice, and so to sing in French is almost like using my instrument in a different way, which is very pleasurable for me. I love to sing in French, and I wanted to, with this, the last record was covers, interpretations of French songs that I loved, and with this one, as a songwriter, I really wanted to try to express myself in French, and it was very interesting for me because I found that I would say things in French that I wouldn't write in English, which was really cool. So it was a whole new way to express myself and be creative working in French.
Il y a tout de même une reprise, la pièce Suzanne de Leonard Cohen. Mais encore une fois, il y a un élément particulier, c'est que c'est la version française que vous proposez ici. Est-ce que pour vous, c'était une façon de mieux vous approprier cette chanson qui est très connue?
Yes, I mean, I've always loved the song Suzanne by Leonard Cohen in English. And when I discovered that there was a French version, I thought that would be very interesting for me to do it. Again, as an Anglophone, much like Leonard Cohen, I thought it would be a cool, it's just such a beautiful song, and especially the French version has so many beautiful images and such beautiful poetry in it. It's a gorgeous translation. So I wanted it to be an album of original songs, but I left room for one song just as an homage, a tribute to Leonard Cohen and his wonderful legacy that he's left behind, especially as a Canadian. I wanted a little nod to Leonard.
Il y a un vent rétro qui souffle sur cet album-là, que ce soit dans le côté pop, dans le côté coquin de certains textes, même dans la pochette de l'album. Les années 60, c'est visiblement une période qui vous inspire. Pourquoi?
I think it was such an interesting time for music in general, the 60s. And I think we've had enough distance from that time now that we can really look back on the 60s as truly an exceptional decade of music. And, I find a lot of inspiration from old music. And one thing that I love to do is to write new contemporary songs that are inspired by the 60s. And so, artists like Françoise Hardy and Serge Gainsbourg, I listened to them a lot, and their music was very inspirational. And I wanted to try my hand at writing an album that had those kinds of influences and that kind of feel, but have it be contemporary.
Il y a eu un déclic qui s'est passé lors d'un concert que vous avez donné à l'Astral à Montréal durant le Festival de jazz en 2009. Cette soirée-là, vous avez interprété une chanson en français et il y a eu une réponse vraiment très, très particulière de la foule. Et corrigez-moi si je me trompe, mais ce soir-là, c'est là que vous avez senti qu'il y avait quelque chose, qui avait un lien particulier avec la chanson française, avec le fait de chanter en français. Et par la suite, il y a eu un premier album. Mais cette soirée-là, donc, il s'est passé quelque chose de particulier et vous n'hésitez pas d'ailleurs sur le nouvel album à chanter ça, à romancer ça dans un duo avec Yann Perrault. Pouvez-vous nous raconter ce qui s'est passé cette soirée-là?
Sure. Well, as a Canadian and as a chanteuse, I I felt when I did my first premiere performance at the Montreal Jazz Festival, I felt that it was important that I communicated with my audience a little bit in French, but I was very, very shy and and didn't have the confidence to speak in French. And so a friend of mine suggested that I translate one of my English songs into French and perform a song in French, because I actually feel a lot more comfortable singing in French than I do feel comfortable speaking in French. Yeah, I'm more confident expressing myself with my music in French. And so I did just that. I was very nervous to sing in French, but I will never forget the way that the audience responded with such generosity and encouragement and appreciation of my efforts. And it was a very small effort. I mean, it wasn't a small effort. It was hard to learn the song, but to me, it was just making the effort to sing in French was received with just such appreciation that it inspired me to do more in French. And I discovered that night that I absolutely love to sing in French, and that is what led me to. I enrolled in a French school as an adult to try to improve my French skills, and then I challenged myself to make my first record, which was the collection of French covers. And now with this current record, it was just another personal challenge for me to try to write an original album in French. And so it's all, I feel very grateful as an Anglophone in this country to have been embraced by Francophone audiences. I feel like it's quite a rare opportunity that I have had to visit Francophone communities and perform, and I've just found such warmth from my Francophone audiences that it just continues to inspire me and encourage me to keep working in French, despite my limitations.
Vous proposez un duo qui s'appelle Les Étés de Montréal avec Yann Perrault. Ça donne une dynamique très particulière, très intéressante. Comment est née cette collaboration avec Yann Perrault?
Yes. So I wrote that very fun song, Les Étés de Montréal. And I knew that I wanted to do it as a duet. And I loved the idea of an Anglo-Franco duet. And I approached Jan, and he was kind enough to agree to sing with me, which was so wonderful. I'm a big fan of his. And then I also thought it would be fun to do a translation of Les Étés de Montréal into English. So we also have an English version called Summer Nights in Montreal. And I got Jan to sing the English version as well. So it's kind of cool. It's one song in English and in French as an Anglo-Franco duet in both official languages. So I thought that was kind of a cool way to do a love song, Canadian love song.
À la sortie de votre premier album en français qui s'appelait Chanson, vous disiez que pour mieux chanter en français, vous deviez être une actrice. Vous imaginez que vous étiez française. Est-ce que c'est une approche ou une stratégie que vous avez encore ou maintenant que vous avez vos propres chansons en français, vous vivez ça de façon différente?
I do feel like I have a French persona, and that it's necessary for me to step into that. I think that I sing differently in French than I do in English, and I use my whole body differently when I sing in French. And I love it's a very fun and very cool experience for me to step into that persona. And I mean, it's still me. It's a version of me, but it comes from a different spirit than singing in English. And that's what I think is so beautiful about the French language, is it does come from it's a slightly different spirit.
Parlez-moi de votre relation avec le public du Québec. Est-ce qu'elle est pareille ou différente de la relation que vous pouvez avoir avec des publics anglophones ailleurs au Canada, ou est-ce que le lien de la langue française vient un peu instaurer une dynamique particulière?
I really feel like there's a generosity of spirit that takes place when I perform in Quebec. I feel like my Quebecois audiences are really passionate music fans, and not afraid to express emotions and to show appreciation. It's just, I feel as a performer, I'm always looking to receive energy from the audience. And whenever I play in Quebec, I get so much energy that I can work with from the audience. And, you know, it's just, it's different. It's different than, you know, in parts outside of Quebec, although I think it has something to do with the Francophone community, because I've also experienced it in some Francophone communities outside of Quebec. So I don't know. It's just a cultural difference, perhaps, or maybe it's the fact that I'm being vulnerable as an Anglo singing in French, and so my audience shows up with even more energy and support for me. It's a beautiful exchange, and it's always just such a gratifying experience for me.
Qu'est-ce qui fait que vous aimez tant vous retrouver sur scène? Parce que visiblement, vous êtes vraiment à l'aise sous les projecteurs.
Thank you. You know, I love to perform. For me, it's all about a connection between me and my audience, and I feel like I come alive. It's my full expression of who I am as a person, as an artist when I'm on stage. And it's just an experience of feeling totally alive and connected to the audience, connected to the other musicians on stage, and for me, just connected to my own emotions. So it's an experience that I've been so fortunate to have as a professional musician, and I look forward to returning to the stage, and certainly to returning to the stage at Palais Montcalm, which is such an incredible theater. I have very fond memories of performing there, and it's thrilling. The experience for me is thrilling.
Et maintenant, avec cette situation du coronavirus, de la COVID-19, où est-ce qu'on vous êtes pris pour rester à la maison? Est-ce que c'est une période qui est difficile pour un artiste de ne pas pouvoir aller sur la route, rencontrer son public, ou est-ce que c'est aussi un moment intéressant pour pouvoir écrire?
It is difficult. It is. It's definitely forcing me to get creative about how to still maintain the connection with my audience. And I've been writing a little bit. I've been playing a lot of guitar, and I've been I think I've just been trying to embrace the pause, the break, but I look forward to getting back there and having the human in-person connection, because that's where I think music really thrives. It is hard. It's hard. I miss it. I really miss it. But I'm hopeful that we'll get back there.
Jill, un grand merci pour votre temps. C'était vraiment agréable de s'entretenir avec vous, très intéressant. On va pouvoir donner suite à tout ça en vous accueillant en 2021 au Palais Montcalm.
J'ai hâte, j'ai tellement hâte. Et merci beaucoup à vous, Nicolas, pour cette conversation et pour votre temps aujourd'hui.